Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the most chilling and mysterious tales from around the world. Tonight we're taking you on a journey into the heart of darkness, where shadows dance and whispers echo through deserted corridors. Today we bring you three spine-tingling stories of ghostly apparitions seen in deserted shopping malls, places once bustling with life, now reduced to eerie, echoing husks, haunted by memories and something more sinister. Turn off the lights, sit back and prepare to be scared. Imagine, if you will, a desolate shopping mall. The once bright storefronts are now hollow, dark eyes staring out into the night. The air is heavy with the silence of forgotten things, the only sound the distant hum of flickering fluorescent lights. This is where our story takes us, to the lonely night shift of a security guard named Frank. Frank was a no-nonsense kind of guy, a skeptic by nature. He'd patrolled this abandoned mall for months, never giving much thought to the stories of it being haunted. One particularly cold night, as Frank made his rounds, a chill snaked down his spine. As he passed by a darkened storefront, a movement caught his eye. A flicker in the reflection of the glass, a fleeting glimpse of something else. He stopped, heart pounding, and strained to see through the smeared glass. For a moment there was nothing. Then he saw her, a woman, her back to him, dressed in a flowing white gown. She appeared to be staring into the darkness of the abandoned store. Frank, his pulse quickening, cautiously approached the storefront. He pressed his face to the glass, his breath fogging the surface. "Hello, can you hear me?" he called out, his voice trembling slightly in the stillness. There was no response. The woman remained motionless. Gathering his courage, Frank made his way around to the front of the store. He peered inside, but the figure was gone, vanished as quickly as she'd appeared. Frank scanned the darkened interior of the store, his heart pounding in his chest. The air hung heavy and still, thick with an unsettling energy. He could have sworn he felt a cold breath on the back of his neck and heard the faintest whisper of his name. Shaking off the feeling, Frank convinced himself it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. He continued his patrol, but the encounter with the mysterious woman in white lingered in his mind. The following nights were plagued by an unsettling feeling. Every creak of the building, every flicker of light, sent shivers down his spine. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, followed. One night, as Frank passed the same storefront where he'd seen the woman, he noticed something strange. A faint light emanated from the back of the store. It pulsed softly like a ghostly heartbeat. His curiosity piqued, Frank cautiously stepped inside. The air grew noticeably colder as he ventured deeper into the store. The faint light led him to the back wall, where he discovered a small, forgotten storage room. The door creaked open with a groan, revealing a dusty, cobweb-filled space. And there, standing in the center, bathed in an ethereal glow, was the woman in white. This time she turned, her face pale and drawn, her eyes filled with a deep, sorrowful longing that sent a shiver down Frank's spine. He opened his mouth to speak, but no sound came out. He was paralyzed with fear, his blood turning to ice in his veins. The woman in white took a step towards him, her spectral form seeming to float across the floor. She raised a hand, reaching out to him with an almost pleading expression on her face. Our next story takes us to the heart of the city, to a once popular shopping center now standing empty and forgotten. It's here we meet a group of friends, Jake, Emily, Ben, and Chloe, who decided to explore the abandoned mall, their curiosity fueled by rumors of paranormal activity. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, the group stepped into the eerie silence of the deserted mall. The air hung heavy with the smell of dust and decay, and a strange stillness permeated the atmosphere. They moved from one deserted store to another, their laughter echoing through the empty corridors. The thrill of exploring the forbidden fueled their excitement, pushing away any lingering fear. As they ventured deeper into the mall, the atmosphere shifted. The playful banter died down, replaced by an uneasy tension. They began to notice strange occurrences, disembodied whispers carried on the air, cold spots that sent shivers down their spines, and the feeling of being watched. In the echoing silence of the food court, Jake swore he saw a figure dart past in his peripheral vision. When he turned to look, there was nothing there. He brushed it off, attributing it to his imagination. But as they continued their exploration, the strange occurrences intensified. Emily, the most skeptical of the group, felt an icy hand brush against her cheek as they passed by a darkened toy store. She gasped, spinning around to find nothing but empty air. "Did you guys feel that?" she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. The others exchanged uneasy glances. They couldn't deny the growing feeling that something wasn't right. They reached the center of the mall, where a grand fountain once stood as a testament to the mall's former glory. Now it stood dry and cracked, a decaying symbol of forgotten prosperity. As they approached the fountain, the air grew noticeably colder. The hairs on the back of their necks stood on end, and an oppressive feeling settled over them. Suddenly the lights flickered, casting long, dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and contort in the darkness. And then they heard it, a child's laughter, echoing through the empty mall. It was a chilling sound, filled with an unnatural glee that sent shivers down their spines. The group froze, their blood turning to ice in their veins. They strained to pinpoint the source of the laughter, but it seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once. Then, just as abruptly as it started, the laughter ceased. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the sound of their own ragged breathing. "This isn't funny anymore," Ben whispered, his voice tight with fear. Our final tale takes us to the quiet suburbs, to an unremarkable mall that had seen better days. It was here that a hard-working janitor named Michael found himself facing the unexplainable during his solitary night shifts. Michael was used to the quiet, the echoing emptiness of the mall after hours. He found a strange comfort in the solitude, the rhythmic hum of the cleaning equipment his only companion. One night, however, the silence was broken. As he pushed his cleaning cart down a deserted corridor, he heard a sound, a soft, mournful sigh that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Michael stopped, his hand tightening on the handle of his cart. He listened intently, but the sound wasn't repeated. Convincing himself it was just his imagination, he continued his work. But as the nights went on, the strange occurrences persisted. He'd hear whispers in the darkness, fleeting glimpses of shadows darting just beyond his vision. One particularly eerie night, as he was cleaning the food court, he saw her. A woman sitting alone at a table, her head resting in her hands. She was dressed in a faded sundress, her hair a tangled mess. Michael, startled by the sight of another person in the locked mall, called out to her. "Hello, ma'am, are you all right?" The woman didn't respond. She remained slumped over the table, her body trembling slightly. Michael cautiously approached her, his unease growing with each step. As he got closer, he noticed that something wasn't right. The woman's skin was deathly pale, her fingers eerily still, and then she slowly raised her head, revealing a face twisted in anguish, her eyes hollow and filled with an unspeakable sadness. Michael recoiled in horror, dropping his cleaning supplies with a clatter. The woman, if she could even be called that, turned her hollow gaze upon him, and a chill shot down Michael's spine. He stumbled back, his heart pounding in his chest, and fled. He didn't stop running until he reached the relative safety of the mall's security office. From that night forward, Michael's once peaceful night shifts became a terrifying ordeal. He felt a constant presence following him, watching him from the shadows. Objects would move on their own. Lights would flicker, and disembodied whispers seemed to taunt him from the darkness. One night, as he was locking up, he felt a cold breath on the back of his neck. He spun around, his heart leaping into his throat, but there was no one there. He was alone, yet he felt surrounded by unseen eyes, his every move scrutinized. He started seeing the ghostly woman everywhere, peering at him from behind mannequins in darkened storefronts, watching him from the reflections in the polished floors. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more chilling tales. The next time you find yourself walking past a darkened, deserted shopping mall, remember the stories you've heard tonight. Remember the security guard, the group of friends, and the janitor, all forever marked by their encounters with the unknown. Share your own ghostly experiences in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and stay scared.